Hey everyone, it's Amber with Amber Marie and Company. I'm going to be making this awesome Valentine's Day wreath for my front door, and I'm going to show you all of the tricks. So make sure you stay tuned. If you like this, it's not that hard. You're going to be able to do it. I'm going to show you all the tricks. And as always, hit that subscribe button because we would love to have you as one of our subscribers here on our YouTube channel and watch all the crazy things we come up with because you just never know what's going to be next. So here it is. Valentine's Day is coming up. This is our Valentine's Day wreath for your front door. So the very first thing we're going to use on our Valentine's wreath is I'm going to start with a grapevine wreath. Just like this. We have all of these products. Everything that I'm showing you today is available on ambermarieandcompany.com. That is our website. So very first thing, grapevine wreath. And then I have these cute little things right here. This is, it's metal, it's tin, so you can put it outside, relatively inexpensive. I can't remember if this was $6.99, $8.99, but this is going to be on our wreath, something like this. I have this other cute little love sign right here, metal again. So you can put it outside and it's going to work really, really well. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to put that here. It's going to kind of, this is going to be decided as we go. All right. But one important thing to remember is on any of these metal pieces, and in fact, the whole wreath, once you finish it, if you have a front door area that's not exactly protected from the sun or from all of the elements, you can spray any of these items with Krylon clear coat. Usually I would pick a matte finish, and that will keep them from fading as quickly in the weather and also just kind of help protect it from rain and all the elements, okay? So that's the very last step that I will not show you how to do, but a very important step if you want to really preserve your items and keep them looking pristine. Okay, the very next thing we have going on is our ribbon. I have selected these three cute ribbons right here. As you can see, they are different patterns, but there's something in each one of these that connects them. So when selecting ribbon to make something on a wreath or any kind of a topper, one thing that I always try to do is do different widths, right? And then every one of these looks just a little different too. Like for example, this was my base. So I picked this one because it's this cute little heart, right? With the plaid, this like kind of a gingham, pink gingham behind it. And that kind of matches the plaid on my heart. It's not exactly the same, but it kind of has those same elements. So there we go. We have plaid here. Then the next ribbon I'm going to come in with this really cute candy heart ribbon. Look how fun that is. You see how cute that is? Looks like all the little conversation hearts. This is going to look cute on top, and it's kind of going to bring in our theme, which is it's Valentine's, but it's also kind of a candy theme that I'm playing with here. And what's really fun about Valentine's is if you have any leftover candy items from Christmas, they always mesh and work really, really well with your Valentine's wreath. And then the third and final ribbon that I'm going to show you is this really fun. Look how cute this is. It has little horizontal stripes here. And then it has this cute little, looks like lace almost on there. So that's going to be our topper. Right? So all three of these ribbons are going to go. It's going to make everything look so cute. And then now let's get to the flowers that I'm going to use. So it's winter, right? But we're willing spring into an existence, right? At this point. Of course, your typical flowers for the Valentine's holiday are usually what? Red roses, right? Pink roses. I don't have any red or pink roses to use on this, but what's next, and one of my favorite flowers, and I know a lot of people choose this too for Valentine's, is tulips. So tulips are going to kind of be the base, and I chose this really fun hot pink tulip bush right here. I love it. All of our flowers always are wired, so it's going to really help. So these are going to look really cute coming out of our wreath. This little tulip bundle right here is $9.99. What a good deal. And look how full that is on your wreath. So that's going to be one of the items. And I actually have three of those. Oh, actually I have four. I don't know if I'm going to need all four or not, but I brought four just to see. This is the first time I've ever made this layout on this wreath. So I just brought a little bit, one extra. I usually use about three, but I brought a fourth one just in case I would need it. So this is what it looks like all closed up. And then as you open it up, it looks nice and pretty and full. So there's the base that I'm going to use. And then I brought this little fun bush. It's a really fun eucalyptus bush, and it has some little eucalyptus berries. This is a nice filler. I'm going to take this bush. This bush is $19.99, and I'm going to clip it. I'm going to cut it all up and use these flowers all throughout my wreath. So that's what's really important to remember is when you're buying faux flowers is that anything you can get usually in a bush form or if it's a spray, you're going to get more clippings off of it. So you get to use it in more places on your wreath and not just have to use like a single stem. I always tell everybody too, that's the difference between buying your flowers at a retailer like us versus buying at a big box store, right? When you buy at a big box store, not always, but generally speaking, when you get a bush like this, it's going to maybe have 3 stems or 4. And they do that obviously for the dollar value amount, right? So if they can sell this for $4.99 with only 3, that looks better to the consumer than paying $9.99 for all of these clippings. All right, so I'm going to put my eucalyptus bush to the side here because I don't need it quite yet. But the other one that I brought in is this really pretty, I'm getting all tangled up. This really pretty flower right here. It is just has a little bit of white to it, a little bit of a lighter, airier feel, has a little bit of movement. So I'm going to use this any place I feel like I need to kind of lighten up of any parts of our wreath. So I've got 2 of those to spread out and use if needed. Oops. There's my second one. I'm going to put that right over there. And then the other cute items that's going to make this look really like a yummy Valentine's wreath are these cute little lollipops. So I'm thinking preliminarily here, I'm going to put 1 right there, maybe 2 coming out on this side of my wreath, and then I'm going to put 1 probably coming down here like this too. So I want this to be really fun. Remember, I've got the conversation heart, so I'm kind of tying in the candy theme with some lollipops I have like this, and these were lollipops that I used on one of my creations during Christmas time, and I saved them over because I thought, oh my gosh, this is perfect. They're like a real cute chenille lollipop, and then I have this cute little spray too, which will kind of carry that theme around as well. So that's what I've got going on so far. We'll see how everything goes. You know, again, like I said, I have not made this wreath before, so this is the first time. And so you guys are on an adventure with me. I know a lot of people will pre-make this and show you what it's going to look like and then make it over again so that they don't mess up live. But I'm not that smart, so just bear with me. All right, here we go. The very first thing that I would like to do is I'm going to take this cute little metal sign and I'm going to, well, actually, sorry, don't let me get ahead of myself. The first thing I want to do is look at my grapevine wreath. So no grapevine wreath is ever 100% a perfect circle, right? These are all made by hand. So what I like to do is try to figure out exactly what will make it look the most like a perfect circle. I've got a little bit of a little kink right here. So that little kink can be easily hid by my heart, right? Right there. So then it looks a little bit more circular. So that's the very first thing, is trying to figure out on your wreath what makes it look perfectly round, right? So this is the best way I feel like it's going to be the most round. So I'm going to end up placing my heart right here. But one thing I'm going to show you real fast is how to take this heart, and I want to put something on this. I'm going to dig in my little drawer here. I want to put one of these little 3M tags right here. So this little guy, this little thing, if you can see that little sticker, is a little 3M. I don't even know what these things are called. It doesn't say what it's called. But anyways, it's this little 3M little plastic thing. And it's sticky on one side. So see how it's sticky? Right here on this side. I'm going to peel that off. And then I'm going to place that down here on the base. How about right there? And I'm going to hold that on there for just a second, because what I want is I want to be able to apply my wire on the top and then on the bottom. So that way my cute little heart here doesn't wiggle around too much or fall off my wreath. So I'm going to really secure this baby in there. So I'm going to bring my wreath back over here. I'm going to take 2 pieces of wire, just like this. I'm going to take that and just twist it right there for a second. And then I'm going to take my other piece of wire, go right down here through this little contraption. And once I try to remember what these little things are called, I can probably tell you, but it's a, I don't even know what it's called, plastic thing from 3M, little square. 3M mounting square maybe. All right, so I'm going to use that little 3M square as an additional little mount, and then right here I've got that little hanger. And I'm going to poke that right through my wreath, just like so, and attach it on the back side. So I poked that through. That's also what's so great about using grapevine wreaths. It's like you just poke these wires through and attach them on the back side. Okay, so let's see how I've got that right there. That's how I want it. I'm going to flip that over, see if I can fish my wires through, and then attach that on the back side first. Fish my wires through. That's what I was worried about, not moving my heart over. Let's see if I want that like that. Just going to do a quick little single twist, see if my heart is over too far. Oh no, I think it is. I want it more here, so I need to reroute that just a little bit. And again, also what's nice about grapevine wreaths is anytime you need to move something or make a mistake, right, you're just using wire on this wreath. So it is super easy to go and change. So that's more or less how I want it on there. So now I'm going to take right here, going to twist this really good. And sometimes people will take and use their pliers or something to really twist and pull and get that super duper tight. I usually just use my hands, and then I clip the wires all at the end just in case I want to move anything. All right, so there we go. I've got it secured right here in both locations. That looks pretty good. It's not going anywhere, right? Might be wiggling just a little bit, but that's okay. I don't mind that at all. And then I've kind of got it just a little bit on an angle because I'm going to shoot my little popsicles or my little lollipops out of there. I believe I'm going to come in with my little love sign, probably this way somehow. I haven't exactly figured out how I want to do it because I kind of am going to wait and see what my flowers look like. But I do know for sure I want to put my bow probably right over here. So let's go with starting with our base, shall we? I'm going to take our cute little tulips here, and I'm going to start with this guy first. So I'm going to clip off my tags. Clipping off my tags here. I'm going to put them over there so I can save them. And I'm going to put in this little tulip bush first. Okay, so I have a very long stem here. I don't need that much stem. So I'm going to take my cutters here. This isn't exactly the right cutters I usually use, but it's the first ones I found. So I'll cut that off if I can. Got it. All right, I'm going to cut that off, and I'm going to place this guy right in there, right under. See, right in there, right under where my little heart is. I've got my little glue pot over here. I'm going to take my glue pot, put a nice good amount of hot glue on the stem. Spread in there real good. And so that hot glue, the consistency of honey is what you want. You're going to take it and you're going to tuck it right up under that little heart, sliding it down into your wreath. Okay, and then you're going to poke that little guy out just like that. So that's our first little round of tulips. I'm going to do my second round of tulips exactly the same way, but only coming out on the top part. So I'm going to clip that, put that little guy right over there. Okay, so I was trying to cut my stems here with a little hand wire cutter, and I forgot that I've got this trusty old guy. So if you guys know about this is a little easy cutter. We call it Mr. Chompers around here, coined after Rebecca's phrase. So I'm going to take that, I'm going to put the stem in there, and then just go like this, and look at that. A just nice clean break, super duper easy. I'm going to take now and fluff this stem out. And by fluffing the stem out, what I mean is taking all those little pieces here and just separating everything so there's air in between each stem, making it look nice and full. All of those flowers. See how pretty that is? It opens up just nice and wide. I'm going to take that, get a nice amount of glue on that stem. I'm using my little glue pot here. I'm just going to take that and poke that right down into my arrangement, just like that, right into the wreath, coming right out the top of that. Okay, and I left just a little bit of room here. You can kind of see there's a little hole, but that's okay. I've got some greenery that's going to come in and cover that right up. All right, and I've got one more of these cute little pink tulip sprays. I'm going to clip off that tag, and I'm going to take that and I'm going to come right down here and I'm going to go on this side of my wreath right here, right? So I'm planning on putting my bow there, so I don't need anything there, but I'm going to take and open this up nice and wide again. So I've got a nice healthy amount of glue right here, and I'm going to take this and I'm just going to go kind of in with my wreath right here, and I'm going to put that cute little tulip right in there. So we kind of have the basic outline right now of our wreath, right? I've got this tulip kind of going out and growing this way. This tulip's kind of going out and growing up and around this way. Right? And then we're going to come in with some greenery and try to fill some things in real fast. But I think before I even do that, I'm going to go ahead and place my bow next. A lot of wreath makers will place their bows first. And I like to do that too sometimes, but I just kind of like to get an overall general idea of where my flowers are going to go. Sometimes before I even put my bow together. I don't know why. I do it differently every time. Like, I know some people are like, oh, this is my method. This is how it works for me. Well, what works for me is doing it differently every time, apparently, because it's never the same way. And our ribbon is really affordable, too. I wanted to share with you, like this one. This is the Glitter Hearts. It's 10 yards, 4 by 10, and it's $14.99. It's Glitter Hearts in check, which you can find this on our website. So even if you aren't into making a Valentine's wreath, honestly, the ribbon is great. Our ribbon is fantastic. So on to making a bow. I am going to do what I call a funky bow, or a lopsided bow. Sometimes people will call it that. And the reason why is because it's not all exactly 100% even. So I make my loops even. So I started with two sides, right? I pull those like this to see that they're even. But then what's not even about this, and what makes it kind of a funky bow, is I pulled those two, those are even, is that this is how the bow takes shape. I have two loops on this side and only one loop on this side. I'm going to cut my ribbon here at the desired length, and I don't measure that each time either, so sorry all of you who are OCD. Watch somebody else's video probably, or you can watch mine and just like have a glass of wine and chill. Maybe that's the best option, because I don't do everything 100% the same way and 100% perfect every single time. But I find that's kind of the beauty about some of these wreaths too. It's like, you know, it just looks kind of a natural thing. All right, so here I have two loops on this side, one loop on the other. I'm bringing in my conversation heart ribbon next. And what you do is the side that you started the two loops on, that's where you put your first little streamer. You pinch that right there and hold it right there in the middle. And then you're just going to take this ribbon and literally do the exact opposite. So if I had two loops on this side with this ribbon, I'm going to have two loops on this side with this ribbon. So I'm making the loops and holding it right there in the center. Just by feel, I generally kind of make the loops exactly the same size, because I literally have made probably over 100,000 bows in my lifetime. So I kind of have that down. Now, I don't always measure it always perfectly, but I get pretty darn close. So there we go with that one. I'm going to cut my ribbon here, and then I'm going to let that tail go this way, and I want this tail to go that way. So there we go. I'm just holding that ribbon just like this. Now you can see I have two loops, now one loop, and then one loop, and then two loops. So it's just basically just going opposite ways, right? And then my third and final ribbon, which also, for my OCD people, why I didn't cut all these ribbons open before I started all of this would have been a really good plan. All right, so the third and final ribbon, which is kind of like always the icing on the cake to me. Same thing, we have two loops on this side, so we're going to take that ribbon and it's going to go right there with the two loop side. And then our first two loops on this are going to go over here on this side. I'm taking that ribbon, twisting it, because I want the pretty side up. All right, measuring those to make sure they're about the same. That one's just a smidgen longer, so I'm going to take it in just a bit. There. Okay, take, and again, twist that up, and then bring it right in there. Okay, and I'm going to cut that. All right, so that is how we make our bow. And now I'm going to take my bow, I'm going to take it and form all of the loops right where I want them. So what's neat about a bow is it's kind of like a movable, moldable thing, right? I have all my loops, but I'm going to make sure all my loops can also be seen. So I'm going to move them around just like this so I can see all the different layers of my bow in here. See what I mean? I'm kind of just filling it out, making it look like one big bow flower. I'm going to literally take my zip tie and put my zip tie exactly under where my pointer finger is there, my index finger and my thumb, because that's the middle of the bow. I'm going to turn my wrist over just like this, like I'm, one lady says, like I'm checking my watch. I'm going to start putting my zip tie right there, and then I'm coming in with my second zip tie, just like this. And this second zip tie is what I'm going to actually use to attach it to my wreath. So if you can see, I have that zip tie nice and tight. I'm going to clip off. Amber might need to sharpen her tools there. Clip off that little piece right there. I've got my nice, beautiful bow. Isn't that pretty? Just like this. And then that bow is going to go onto my wreath. Okay, so I've made this cute little bow here. I say cute little bow. It's not very little. Look, it's a big bow. But I like big bows because I feel like that's like, and welcoming and inviting. You know, I have this saying that your front door of your home is like it's like the smile of your home, right? When you first drive up, or anytime you're driving by, like if you're driving and you're scoping out your neighbor's house, let's all face it, like we look at the front door, right? It's like it's a natural thing. So in my opinion, when I go and I meet somebody for the first time, probably one of the first things that I notice is, you know, usually your eyes, but then it's also your mouth and your smile, right? Are you smiling at me when you greet me? So that's why I feel like your front door is like the smile of your house, right? It's the first thing that people see and that they're able to be greeted by. So that's why I love doing something really fun on my front door. So think of this is a smile, and our smile for Valentine's Day is going to be happy. All right, so I'm going to take my wreath next. I've got this big old beautiful bow. I've got this beautiful zip tie here, right there, and that's going to make our life so much easier because we're going to take that bow and we're going to take that zip tie and we're going to put that zip tie right through our wreath, just like this. Flip our wreath over for just a second. Where's my zip tie at? Oh, there it is. I'm going to find my zip tie. Got to poke it through there just a little bit more so I can find it. There it is. Okay. And I'm going to take that, and if you can see that, I'm just going to zip it right back there. Nice and tight. That bow isn't going anywhere. We're going to have an Oklahoma tornado or whatever, and it'll be just fine. So there's our big, beautiful bow right here. Turn everything over so it's kind of how I want it. Now, I have not trimmed the edges of my bow yet, so I'm going to do that real quick. And I like to dovetail, which means folding it over and cutting it just like that. That is how you dovetail ribbon. And these cute little short little pieces I'm going to curl up just like that because I always think that looks so cute. When you have that little 1 or 1.5 inch ribbon, you can curl those little tails all up. Cute. And then I'm going to trim my larger tails exact same way. And if I feel like this is too long, I can go back and just trim it more. I always like for my first clipping not to trim too short in case I really want more ribbon hanging down, right? So I don't trim that one too short the first time to give myself a little bit of breathing room. Okay, I'm going to get all those trimmed there. And trim you too. Okay, so now I've got all my bow looking cute. So this is kind of the right? My first steps here of everything. I've got my ribbon, got my heart over here, my tulips going, so I kind of have an idea of where I'm going to put everything. Now the very next thing is I'm going to bring in some greenery. So look at this pretty bush right here. I'm going to take that, I'm going to clip it all up, and I'm going to spread that around my wreath just for some added greenery. So I'm taking every single one of these little stems and I'm clipping it and I'm going to put it somewhere, right? So that's what's nice. Like I said, this bush of eucalyptus was, I think, $19.99, and you're going to get lots of clippings from it. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, Lord. Hold on. 7. 8, 9, 10. 11. Ooh, that one's a hard one. I might need Mr. Chompers for that one. 12. 13. Come over here, my little friend. I'll get you in there. There we go, 13. And 14. Called in the big guns for that last couple. Okay, I'm going to move Mr. Chompers right over here to the side. Look at all of this I've got to deal with. Lots and lots of greenery, which is great because this is going to help me fill in my wreath. Now, if I'm doing a wreath that has like 2 different sides, what I try to do is divide up my greenery. But really, I've got this big heart and I've got this big bow, so I don't have to worry too much about dividing my greenery to use equal sides. What I'm mostly worried about at this point right now is just filling in the grapevine wreath so we don't see it, right? So this is all about the camouflage right now. I'm going to go in with this, put lots of glue. I'm going to kind of start underneath, and I'm just going to start adding some camouflage because it's all about making this grapevine wreath look somewhat invisible. I mean, like, right? We're just trying to make it look like all of these beautiful flowers just decided to grow on here just in time for Valentine's Day. Like it was all just part of God's plan, right? So here we go, just putting all that in there. Again, it's just filler. And I want to be careful that I don't use all of it on one side. I want to try to make sure I have enough to go around. I remember I knew I had a little hole here, but I wasn't worried because I knew I was going to come with some greenery there. And I don't want to hide the heart either. So my greenery, I want to make sure I kind of get it twisted and away from the heart so that it's not hiding my heart, because that would just ruin why I even put the heart in there in the first place, right? I'm just going to continue taking all these leaves, just finding all my places where I need a little more greenery. I'm just filling this out. I think it's filling out really nicely. What do you think? And if I'm going too fast, if you have questions, you know, don't forget, leave me comments. Let me know how I'm doing. You know, I have to be completely honest with you. Learning how to make wreaths and then showing somebody else how to do it and like teaching somebody is a total different animal, right? It's so easy for me just to come in and be like, oh yeah, I just put this here and I know this is going to look good, or I have the idea in my head, but then like verbally telling you guys what the idea is going to be and trying to share that is a whole different ballgame. So let me know how I'm doing. Always, you know, tell me if I'm going too fast, if you like the design. Even if you don't like the design, that's fine too. You can tell me that. I can handle it. And also, that's something, if a leaf falls off, you can always just put it right back on or use a little dab of glue if you want to make sure that it's going to hold really nicely. I never really have many problems with that, but you know, every once in a while you're going to get a stem and a leaf's going to fall off. It happens no matter how nice and expensive the flowers are. It's just the component of how they put wreaths or stems together and how they make them. So there's not really any changing that, no matter if the stem is $10 or $50 a stem, which, yes, there's lots of stems out there that are $50. They're quite beautiful and nice, and they look very realistic. So there we go, just filling that in a little bit. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I've kind of got my wreath. It's all everything's taken shape, right? I've got greenery in there. I like how it's looking so far. I honestly don't even know if I'd have to use the candy in this wreath. I might just do these little guys and save my candy for something else, right? Because see, I think that would look really cute in there. What do you guys think? I don't even know if I have to use the lollipops, but we'll see. The next thing I'm going to do is take this cute little bush. Remember I said we're going to use this to add some light. So we've got pink, and look at how this white just adds a whole nother dimension and just adds a little pop of texture and color right into our arrangement. I'm going to take this, dab it in some glue. Lots of glue on there because I don't want this thing falling out, right? Lots of glue. It's gonna weather any storm here in Oklahoma. And I'm gonna add that light. Just kind of spread it out here. Let's just spread that little guy out so we can see some cute little white berries poking through. Always love that. Little Mr. Chomper action here. Cut that guy. And I have two of these, so I'm going to use one right here on the bottom part of my wreath, and then probably go right back up to the top and do the exact same thing up there. Just adding, you know, movement, adding a little texture. This really fun white berry, I say, adds movement. So like when the wind blows, that's going to blow and make it look really, really cute on your wreath, like your flowers are real, right? I think we all know when we drive by someone's house that those aren't really real flowers on their door, but at least we want to make them look like they are. How's that? Okay, I'm going to add some little greenery down here. And I'm going to also take and add some of these little thin little greenery pieces right down here, kind of right under and by my little heart on this side. So I've got some little pieces growing out right over here to finish that part off, just right there under my heart. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing now with my next little white flower. So let me know what you think. I love the tulips. I love the pink color. I love the heart. So far, I'm loving all of this, which isn't bad for just coming up with this design on the fly, right? I'm going to take this. Now what you can see me do is sometimes, like, see this little bundle of flowers? When you pull these apart, you get several little strands. And what I'll do is just take one little strand and just twist that wire around it to kind of make it a bundle. So that's what you see me doing. If you're wondering, what is it that I'm doing when I rip that apart? I'm taking that whole little bundle and I'm making it one little bundle together. So there we go. I'm going to stick that right out there, right on the top of my wreath. So see, I'm pulling this apart just like this. And then I just take one wire, wrap that wire around all the other stems, and that gives me that little bundle, just like this, to be able to use. It just keeps them all together. I put glue on the entire bundle, like this. And I'm going to go and I'm going to stick that in. So I'm going to kind of look at my wreath and just be like, all right, where do I need some greenery? Where do I need something to kind of fill in on my grapevine? Chomping action. Right there. I'm going to take this. Let's come in with this right up here, right out of the top. Let's add a little white right up in there. Very, very cute. Look how fun that is looking. I just love it. I'll clean up all my little mess there on my heart. So it's looking really cute. What do you guys think? Do you love it? Do you think it would look even cuter with this little love sign? I feel like that's going to look cute in there. Now I just have to get real creative on how I want to put it in there. Right? But I'm going to wait. Not doing it yet because I want to put some of these in. Don't you think that's going to look cute? I could do this or I could do the lollipops. But the way that I feel like this wreath is going, I honestly just feel like this little gadget right here is going to make it look really fun and whimsical. So I'm going to put those in next. So I just took off my tag there. I'm going to take this little guy, and sometimes I'll put this in little sections like this. Like I'm going to take this stem and pull that apart. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll either group them all three together, or I'll just put them all in individually and separately. So let me show you how I would place those all individually and separately. I'm literally just going to pull all those stems apart, except for this one. This one still has, come on. This one still has two together, so I might just leave that one like that and use that in my first little round right down here. And then I'll show you how to put the other ones in. So a nice big old glob of glue on there. Look at all that glue. And I'm just going to take and I'm just going to insert it right down here into my wreath. I'm going to take and I'm going to move my flowers around a little bit, right? So I want my flowers to show, and I want them to be really pretty, but then I also want these little guys to show. But I don't want them to be necessarily right next to each other, because I kind of like having a little greenery and a little space. So I'm going to just create that just like this. Then I'm going to take another one and just move it on down my wreath here and add some glue to it. Okay, gonna bring it right down here, have it popping out right over here. And I love this because, again, like I said, it's gonna add some whimsy. It adds a little bit of different texture to my wreath. So I just think it's gonna make it end up looking really, really cute. And again, I haven't decided completely not to use the lollipops, but I'm just waiting to see how everything forms and takes shape. I'll put that little guy right up in here. Good little action there. And then this little one kind of needs to be splitting the difference right into this section. And that's a nice thing too about when you do take all of these pieces and you cut them apart, you have a lot more control over where everything goes and where everything ends up. So that is for my people who are maybe the control freaks. I just gave you permission right there. There we go. You have permission to be control freak over your wreath and take your little pieces and just like that. So you can see what I mean. I just place those individually. And sometimes, like if you don't like seeing that white stem, occasionally that bothers me. On this wreath, since there is white, it doesn't really bother me that much. But you can always move your flowers around to kind of hide that. So just really fun. Like I said, adds texture, adds pink, makes it look really, really cute. Now I've got another set, and I'm going to do that same thing, only coming at the top of my wreath. So what I'm going to do for you just real quick, I'm going to show you, I have this little wreath easel right back here. So I want you to see, just real fast, how this is taking shape and what it's going to look like on my door, right? So right now, this is the way it looks right here. I've got all these things taking place, taking shape right here. This is what it's going to look like hanging. And a lot of times I like to look at that too so that I can see, okay, are there any bare spots? Are there any spots that I need to change? Or is something not really working or coming out the way I like it? Because I'm doing the video of the wreath down here on my, my little stand here so that I can show you guys on camera what it looks like. But sometimes when you have your wreath here, the difference of what it looks like laying down and then what it looks like actually on your door, I mean, it is different sometimes. So I always like to take it and put it up on my easel just like this. And if you don't have an easel, I mean, before this, I think I used what was that? It was like a furniture stand. It was literally like a stand you use for clothes. It was a clothes rack. So I used to use a clothes rack for this very job right here. So I'm telling you, you can get creative and use just about anything. Okay, so I'm going to take my first little round here, put them right up in there. So it's going to look really cute, sticking out. How's that looking? Good. All right, I'm going to take these all, guys. Oops. Let me get that little guy. Come back. All right, the next lesson, if any of these little things ever pop off, a little dab of glue right there on the end, just stick it right back in. No need to get concerned. When they were manufactured, that's how they did it. So all you're doing is just reinforcing a behavior these little things already know. So just pop that glue right back on there, and you're good to go. All right, let's place these little guys around. I'm going to take this one and just poke it right in there. Okay. And the next one's going to go kind of up top. And you know, the other thing that's important to remember, and I feel like I say this in all of our videos all the time too, is like, just like in nature, like there's not any right or wrong way to make a wreath, right? There's no right or wrong way that this is going to look. It's going to look good. And I'll tell you, if you're worried about it, don't worry. Your friends probably can't do any better. So you're going to be just fine. Put it up there. Make this little wreath. Make it look cute. And don't worry about it being perfect. I think sometimes the biggest problem is sometimes people overwork. And they overwork the wreaths, and that's when it starts looking muddy, and it doesn't look good because it's just kind of like sometimes when if you're baking and you mix things too much, right? It makes the like the cake tough, or it makes your crust tough, or your cookies tough, right? If you mix it too much. So I feel like the same thing happens in floral design. If you keep messing with it too much, it's like it's all in your head, like you're overthinking it, right? So there's no need to do that. Okay, so let's figure out if I've got room for my little love sign here or not. Do I just want to make it look like my little love sign is just growing right out of here, which I think would be really cute. And don't forget, everything, all of our flowers are all wired. So all I have to do is place this little love sign just like this right wherever I want it. And then I just have to wire it in, right? So this little guy is a hanger up here. But I'm going to use it more or less down here, like in the bottom part of my design. So I don't have a way to hang it from the top, right? But that's not really a problem because all I have to do is use a little floral wire and just attach it to my wreath that way. So I'm going to take this green piece of floral wire, if you can see that, and I'm going to just cut it in, well, maybe I shouldn't cut it in half. Let's do a full size right here. I'm going to take in just a few places, and I'm going to attach this mostly in places where you're not going to see it. So right here I've got some leaves covering and hiding that. So I'm going to take that right down there, poke that floral wire through all the way to the back, find where my wire has come through, hopefully. You have decided to go crazy. Let's try to get you back on track. There we go. Okay, I'm going to take that. And now I'm not pulling really, really hard. I'm just wiring it in very gently, very softly. I don't need to pull this very hard and wire it all the way back to the wreath. And I'll tell you why here in just a second. So I don't have to do that. I want this love sign to look like it's just kind of growing out of those flowers. And don't forget, because all of our flowers are wired, we're going to be able to move it so we can see this love sign really, really well. I'm going to grab some more floral wire here. I have both types of floral wire. I have the floral wire that comes in the long sticks, which I love personally. That's probably my first favorite. And then I have the floral wire that comes on this little paddle. They call it what? Paddle wire. So I use both. The floral wire sticks are a lot easier to get through your wreath. So I really, really recommend those. But sometimes when I really don't want my wire to be seen, I'll use this paddle wire because it's just a little bit thinner, and it's going to come in there and it's going to hold my little sign right in place, right where I want it. I'm going to take that little guy, take it around to the back of my wreath, poke it through my grapevine, and just wire it in there. So hopefully this little love sign won't go anywhere here once I get it nice and wired to my wreath. And again, you know, I'm not using the back of that little love sign, but I think it's okay because, you know, in this, it's tucked into so many flowers that you are never, ever going to see that wire. I mean, you know, it's very, very hardly noticeable. And if you feel like you are seeing it, just, you know, take and just tuck one of your little things right over there. But I mean, honestly, it's just hardly even noticeable. So I wouldn't even worry about it. So there we have love right there poking through the greenery. And again, if you need to, you can move any of these leaves around. But I always kind of say that till the very, very end, because what I want to do is I want to take it, I want to put it on my door, and then I want to see on my door how it looks, right? So like, how do I want these? Do I want these tulips coming through the love? Do I want them kind of poking down? How do I want that to really show? Do I need to move this tulip up? Like, this is the part where you really kind of design and kind of create what the overall feeling is going to be. So I need to tuck that leaf back, etc. That way everything is just seen how I want it to be seen on my wreath, if that makes sense. Okay, so let me show you this right up close so you can see how cute this looks. And while I am doing that, I've got it right all set up here, I'm going to take and I'm going to clip all those wires that I tied to the back. I'm going to clip all of those remaining pieces off so they're not going to scratch my door. They don't come unwired. Of course, I'm not going to use that pair because that one didn't want to work. Oh, yeah. All of my wreath making material has been put through the wringer. So a lot of it is in need of major sharpening right now. But that's it. What do you guys think? A cute little Valentine's Day wreath for your door. I like adding the love. Of course, you can see it was perfect without it as well, so you don't have to. But I think this is really fun. I think it's going to be really cute and really bright and cheery. This looks like a beautiful smile for your front door. I highly recommend it. You can see it wasn't hard. It doesn't take somebody knowing perfectly how to arrange flowers to do this. You can do it. All the supplies at ambermarieandcompany.com. We have everything you need. And stick around because we're going to be showing even more videos, more spring. I've got a cute Easter wreath coming up soon. But you need to get this now because Valentine's Day is soon. And you need to get this cute little wreath right here on your front door. So thank you guys so much. Thanks to all of our subscribers for subscribing and following us. Don't forget, we also do a Thursday night live every Thursday night on our Facebook page. So you can see us, buy whatever it is that we might be selling or making. And I just appreciate you guys so much. Thanks for joining us and happy Valentine's Day.